conflicting views on the role that the United States should be taking in Syria as that regime continues to brutally attack its own people. All of this has Governor Mitt Romney now challenging President Obama on how he is handling the situation, calling on the United States and our allies to arm the opposition so they can better defend themselves. But the White House says that would lead to more chaos and carnage. Who's right? And is this really a political fight that Governor Romney wants to have? Joining me now, Mark Hanna, who was an aide to John Kerry and President Obama's presidential campaigns. This is so disturbing what's happening over there. I mean, you know, we are the world superpower, and you're seeing little babies, little children get shot execution style. We went into Libya, 1,000 people had been killed in Libya by Gaddafi. 10,000 in Syria.
Right. First of all, I want to say our hearts go out to those people. Over 100 people, mostly women and children, and it's a horrifying example of what's happening.
That's just the latest. 100 out of 10,000 we've seen over the past year.
Absolutely, absolutely. This has been going on for a long time. My college roommate, his family's from Damascus in Syria, and the people here, it's hitting close to home because there are a lot of Syrian Americans that are looking over this.
And even if you're not a Syrian American, look at that little girl. Look at that little girl. 50 children like her she could have been one of them for all we know. Were just murdered by this guy. And what is the world's superpower doing about it?
Now, what Mitt Romney's doing is reacting very coldly and very quickly in a political sense, and second-guessing not just President Obama, who has shown time and time again that he won't hesitate to use military intervention when America's strategic interests are at risk. So he showed in Libya, like you said, with drone strikes in Pakistan, not to mention the killing of Osama bin Laden and our withdrawal in Afghanistan and bringing that war to a responsible end. So the Obama administration has shown in the Middle East that it has been extremely intelligent when it comes to intervening overseas, especially in the Middle East. Mitt Romney has no business right now second-guessing President Obama. And he's not just second-guessing President Obama, he's second-guessing the National Security Council of the United States, the House Intelligence Committee, including many leading Republicans who said arming the opposition isn't the answer. And he has a very short-term memory, because if you think back on all the different revolutions we've supported with military and selling arms and throwing arms at the problem, you know, the road to sort of dictatorships in that part of the world is paved with America's best intentions.
And one thing we don't want to do is
aggravate
the hatred in the Muslim world of the radical Muslim world of Americans. And we do have to worry about our own strategic interests and our safety when it comes to things like that by not getting involved in too many conflicts that don't hold broader implications for the United States. Here, it's a humanitarian crisis. You know, it's not necessarily that we need
but Syria is also,
but that there's a moral obligation argument.
But Syria is also strategically important to the United States, where Libya was not.
With Libya, with
Libya
Lebanon,
was not strategically important.
But no, that's absolutely a consideration. This administration has done a tremendous amount of work to restore America's standing in the world and the reputation of America as the world sees it. That's a secondary consideration when you're talking about the human rights abuses and the massacres that are happening there. One thing that everybody can agree on in the United States is, look, we have two things: protecting the safety and security of the Syrian people to the best of our ability, and then second thing is making sure we don't escalate this sectarian civil war, or actually creating a sectarian civil war. It's a tinderbox over there. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a professor up at MIT and says, you know, for Mitt Romney to come out and say that we're going to just arm the Syrian people and have this overthrow happen that way, I mean, it shows a lack of responsibility. It shows a lack of judgment about a foreign policy. I mean, this is a candidate who has said the president doesn't need to be a foreign policy expert. When it comes to crucial matters of America's foreign policy, he's going to sit down with his attorneys.
I got to go, but I do want to say General Jack Keane was on the show yesterday, and he talked about the possibility of anti-aircraft weapons, communications equipment, and so on. There are, small arms potentially. I got to go, but
there are a lot of things. Look, remember that the intervention in Syria was based on this rationale coming from one of Obama's top foreign policy aides, Samantha Power, called responsibility to protect. And yet he doesn't apply that to the people of Syria, and he did not apply it to the people of Iran.
But this is this is still unfolding, and it bears mentioning that the Obama administration has taken nothing off the table. So Mitt Romney can come out and say anything he wants while it's happening, but it's still happening.
There's no easy answer. I mean, I think we all agreed even before we got started in this segment, there's no easy answer here, and it's disturbing. Guys, thank you both so much.
You bet.
Mark, Monica.
Thank you.